Have you ever understood English while reading but struggled to speak when someone looked at you and waited for an answer? That moment can feel frustrating. You know you have learned many words, yet they do not come out when you need them. The good news is that this can change, and it does not require special talent or years of complicated study. In this audiobook, you will learn a simple step-by-step approach to speaking English with confidence. You will discover how to build strong speaking habits, improve your pronunciation, grow your vocabulary with useful everyday words, understand spoken English more easily, and use grammar naturally during real conversations. Most importantly, you will learn how to make English part of your daily life so that steady progress becomes possible. Every chapter is filled with practical advice that you can start using today. There are no shortcuts, but there is a clear path that anyone can follow with patience and consistent effort. Each small improvement will bring you closer to speaking naturally without constantly translating in your mind. Stay with this audiobook until the end, because every chapter builds on the one before it. By the time you finish, you will have a complete plan that can help you communicate more clearly, speak with greater confidence, and continue improving your English every single day. Chapter 1. Build strong English basics with simple daily speaking practice. Your English will not improve by waiting for the perfect moment. It improves when you open your mouth and start using what you know today. That is the first truth to understand. Many people stay stuck because they believe they need a big vocabulary before they speak. They think they must know every grammar rule before they try. They wait until they feel ready. But readiness is often a false feeling. Confidence grows after action, not before it. If you want strong English basics, you must treat speaking like a daily practice, not a test of your worth. Start with the smallest useful step. Say simple sentences out loud every day. Do not wait for a partner. Do not wait for a class. Do not wait for the right mood. Open your mouth and speak about your day, your food, your plans, your work, your family, your room, your feelings, and your goals. Use short sentences first. Keep them clear. Keep them honest. English becomes stronger when your mind and mouth work together again and again. At first it may feel slow. That is normal. A strong skill is built with patient effort, not fast excitement. There is great power in simple speech. A child learns by repeating basic words many times. A musician learns by repeating simple notes many times. A strong speaker also grows through repetition. Repetition is not a weakness, it is the path to control. When you repeat useful sentences every day, your tongue becomes more comfortable, your mind becomes more active, your fear becomes smaller. Your hearing improves because you begin to notice how words sound in real speech. Your memory improves because you use words in a real situation instead of only reading them on a page. Begin each day with a few minutes of clear speaking. Wake up and say a few basic sentences about the morning. Say what you are doing. Say what you feel. Say what you plan to do. Keep it simple. For example, say that you are getting ready for the day. Say that you want to study. Say that you will speak English for a few minutes. Say that you will not give up. This kind of practice may seem small, but it trains your mind to accept English as part of life. English should not feel like a separate subject. It should feel like a tool you use often. One of the best ways to build strong basics is to speak about things that are already in front of you. Look at a chair and describe it. Look at your window and describe it. Look at the weather and describe it. Look at your food and describe it. This helps because your mind does not have to search too hard. You stay close to real life. You speak with less pressure. You learn to use English for simple truth. That is how real fluency begins, not with perfect lines, not with difficult words, with clear and useful speech about daily life. You must also learn to respect small progress. Some days your speech will sound better, some days it will sound rough. Do not punish yourself for rough days. Do not turn one hard day into a reason to stop. A disciplined person keeps going without drama. He or she knows that growth is uneven. The goal is not to sound perfect every day. The goal is to stay committed every day. If you speak for 10 minutes today and only 5 minutes tomorrow, that is still progress. What matters is the habit. What matters is the return. What matters is your decision to stay in motion. Another strong habit is to practice with short answers. When someone asks a question, answer in a complete sentence. Do not answer with one word if you can speak more. If someone asks how you are, say more than fine. Say how your day is going. If someone asks what you did today, speak in simple past tense and give 1 or 2 details. This teaches your brain to build real English naturally. It also helps you stop hiding behind very short answers. Full answers create confidence. Full answers train fluency. Full answers make your English more alive. It is also wise to repeat core sentence patterns until they become easy. Many people try to learn too many things at once. That creates confusion. A better way is to master useful structures one at a time. Learn how to talk about present actions. Learn how to talk about past actions. Learn how to talk about future plans. Learn how to ask simple questions. Learn how to agree and disagree politely. Learn how to describe people and places. When these patterns become familiar, you can use them anywhere. A strong foundation is built on a few stable tools used well. Do not chase large amounts of information every day. Chase useful practice. A little speaking done with attention is more valuable than hours of passive reading with no action. You do not need to impress anyone. You need to improve yourself. Keep your focus on what you can control. You can control how often you practice. You can control whether you speak clearly. You can control whether you return after mistakes. You cannot control every hard moment. That is fine. The disciplined person does not need perfect conditions. The disciplined person works under real conditions. When you practice speaking alone, make it active. Do not just whisper. Use your voice. Hear the words. Feel how your mouth moves. Notice which sounds are easy and which sounds need more work. This kind of attention helps you improve faster. You are training your body as well as your mind. Speaking is physical. Your tongue, your lips, your breath, and your ear all need practice. That is why speaking out loud matters so much. Quiet thinking is useful, but quiet thinking alone will not make you fluent. You need sound. You need repetition. You need use. A strong way to build basics is to use daily life as your classroom. When you are walking, say what you see. When you are eating, say what you taste. When you are cleaning, say what you are doing. When you are waiting, say what you think will happen next. These are small moments, but they are full of learning. English grows when it becomes attached to real action. The more your words connect to real life, the more natural they will feel. You do not need a special place. You need steady effort. Some people feel embarrassed when they hear their own voice in English. That feeling is common. Do not let it control you. At first, your voice may sound uncertain. Your sentences may be broken. Your pace may be slow. Accept that stage without shame. Weakness is not the enemy. Avoidance is the enemy. The person who keeps speaking through discomfort becomes stronger. The person who hides from discomfort stays weak. Be honest with yourself. You are not learning English to protect your pride. You are learning English to build a better future. That future deserves your courage. Make peace with mistakes. Mistakes are not proof that you cannot learn. They are proof that you are learning. Every wrong sentence gives you a chance to improve. Every pause gives you a chance to think. Every correction gives you a chance to grow. A student who fears mistakes stays trapped. A student who accepts mistakes moves forward. Speak with care, but do not wait for perfection. Perfect speech comes later. Clear effort comes now. This mindset will save you from frustration and keep your progress alive. You should also learn to listen to yourself with patience. When you speak a sentence, ask whether it is simple and clear. Do not ask whether it sounds like a movie character. Ask whether it communicates your idea. That is the real measure in the beginning. Communication comes before style. Accuracy comes before speed. Clarity comes before complexity. If your sentence is short but true, it is still useful. If your sentence is simple but correct, it is still strong. Build from there. Strong basics are built on simple truth spoken well. A useful daily method is to choose one small topic each day and speak about it for a few minutes. Choose food, choose school, choose work, choose family, choose weather, choose travel, choose your goals, choose your feelings. Speak in easy sentences. Repeat ideas in different ways. This teaches flexibility. It also helps your mind stop freezing when it has to talk. You are training yourself to think and speak at the same time. That ability is one of the real signs of fluency. Another important habit is to copy useful speech patterns from good English speakers. Listen to short, clear sentences and repeat them exactly. Not to become fake, not to sound like someone else, but to train your ears and mouth. Good copying teaches rhythm, word order, and natural flow. You can then use the pattern with your own words. That is a smart way to grow. Learn from strong models, then make the language your own. Do this with discipline and humility. There is no shame in learning from others. There is wisdom in it. The truth is that English fluency is not only about language, it is also about character. It asks you to be patient. It asks you to be honest. It asks you to stay calm when you feel unsure. It asks you to continue when progress is slow. These are good lessons for life as well. When you learn English well, you also learn how to build a habit, how to face discomfort, how to recover from mistakes, and how to trust the process. That is why this journey matters. It shapes more than your speech. It shapes your discipline. A better speaker is not always the person who knows the most words. Often, it is the person who uses the words he already knows with confidence and consistency. That is good news. It means you can begin now. You do not need to wait for a huge vocabulary. You do not need to finish a grammar book first. You need to begin using the language in small and real ways. Speak often, speak simply, speak clearly, speak with purpose. Your skills will grow as you stay loyal to the practice. Keep your goals visible. Write down what you want to improve. Maybe you want to speak without freezing. Maybe you want to answer questions better. Maybe you want to describe your day in English. Maybe you want to hold a short conversation without fear. Keep 1 or 2 goals in front of you. Do not make your mind carry too much. A focused goal is easier to pursue. Review it each day. Let it remind you why you are practicing. A person who knows why can endure more than a person who simply wishes. You should also protect your energy. If you are tired, do not quit completely. Reduce the practice if needed, but keep the chain alive. A small practice is better than no practice. On difficult days, say just a few sentences. On better days, say more. That is how discipline works. It is flexible without becoming weak. It adjusts without disappearing. Real progress comes from consistency over time. One good day does not make fluency. One bad day does not destroy it. What matters is the pattern you build. As you continue this daily speaking habit, you will notice changes. You will stop panicking as much. You will remember more words at the right moment. You will speak with more ease. Your mind will become faster. Your ears will catch more. These changes may be gradual. They may feel small in the moment. Still, they are real. Growth often begins quietly. Keep going until the quiet work becomes visible results. Trust what repeated effort can do. Many people want speed. Strong people want strength. Strength lasts. Never speak badly about your own progress. Do not say that you are hopeless. Do not say that your English is too poor to improve. Those words weaken your mind before the language even has a chance. Speak with respect about your effort. Say that you are learning. Say that you are improving. Say that you are willing to work. This is not false pride. This is a healthy mind. A healthy mind sees reality clearly and still chooses effort. That choice changes everything. Every day gives you a new chance to build. Use it. Speak a little more. Listen a little better. Repeat what you learn. Stay calm when you make mistakes. Stay steady when progress feels slow. Stay humble when you improve. The path to English fluency is not mysterious. It is simple. Practice, repeat, correct, continue. That is the work. That is the discipline. That is how strong basics become strong skill. And when your basics become strong, your confidence rises with them. Your voice becomes clearer, your message becomes stronger, your future becomes larger. Keep speaking, keep learning, keep returning to the basics. The person who practices daily becomes harder to stop. The person who stays patient becomes harder to break. The person who keeps moving forward becomes the one who changes. Your English can improve far more than you think. Begin where you are. Use what you know. Speak today. Speak tomorrow. Speak again after that. This steady effort will build the foundation you need for real fluency and for a stronger life. Chapter 2. Learn essential words through consistent real-life conversations. If your goal is to speak English fluently, one decision will make a greater difference than almost anything else. Stop trying to learn every English word and every grammar rule at the same time. Instead, identify the habits that have the biggest impact on your progress and improve those first. Many learners spend months studying information they rarely use. They become busy, but they do not become fluent. Real improvement begins when you focus on the actions that move you forward every single day. Take an honest look at your current routine. Ask yourself a simple question. What do you actually do every day to improve your English? Many people are surprised by the answer. They may watch videos without paying attention. They may save learning materials but never open them. They may read grammar explanations but never speak. They may memorize long word lists but forget the words after a few days. None of these habits are completely useless, but they are not enough to build real communication skills. Fluency is not built by collecting information. It is built by using the language again and again. Every successful English speaker started with small daily actions. Those actions became habits. Those habits became skills. Those skills became confidence. Your future depends more on your daily routine than on your natural ability. Begin by finding the habits that slow you down. One common habit is depending too much on your native language. Every time you see an English sentence, you immediately translate it word by word. This feels safe, but it makes speaking much slower. Your mind becomes busy with translation instead of communication. Replace this habit little by little. Try to understand simple English directly. Connect words with pictures, actions, and experiences instead of translating everything. Another habit that needs to change is waiting until you know enough. Many learners believe they will start speaking after they learn 5,000 words or after they finish a grammar book. That day rarely comes. There is always another lesson to study and another rule to learn. Knowledge without action creates frustration. Start speaking with the words you already know. Even a few simple sentences every day are more valuable than hours of silent study. Pay attention to how you spend your free time. Small moments throughout the day can become valuable learning opportunities. While making breakfast, describe what you are doing in English. While walking outside, name the things you see around you. While waiting for a bus or standing in a line, think about your plans in English. These short moments may seem unimportant, but together they create many extra minutes of practice every week. One habit that separates successful learners from those who struggle is consistency. Some people study for 3 hours on one day and then stop for an entire week. Others practice for 15 or 20 minutes every day. The second person usually makes much faster progress. Daily contact with the language keeps your memory active. It also reduces the fear of speaking because English becomes a familiar part of your life instead of something you only face once in a while. Another important habit is choosing quality over quantity. You do not need 10 different textbooks, 20 language apps, and hundreds of online lessons. Too many resources often create confusion. Instead, choose one reliable source and use it well. Repeat lessons until you truly understand them. Review old material before rushing into new topics. Strong understanding grows through repeated practice, not endless searching. Many learners also develop the habit of avoiding difficult situations. They skip speaking because they are afraid of making mistakes. They avoid conversations because they think other people will judge them. This habit quietly destroys confidence. Every conversation you avoid becomes another missed opportunity to improve. Replace avoidance with courage. Speak even when your voice feels uncertain. Speak even when your sentence is not perfect. Every attempt teaches you something valuable. Notice how you react when you make a mistake. Some people immediately become disappointed. They criticize themselves and lose motivation. Others see mistakes as useful feedback. They correct the error and continue speaking. The second attitude creates lasting progress. Every mistake shows you exactly what needs attention. Instead of feeling embarrassed, become curious. Ask why the mistake happened and how you can improve next time. Your environment also shapes your habits. If English only exists during study time, progress becomes slower. Surround yourself with the language throughout the day. Change your phone settings to English. Read simple signs and labels in English. Follow English content that matches your interests. Listen to short recordings while doing simple tasks. The more often your brain meets English, the more natural it begins to feel. Strong habits also require clear goals. A vague goal like, "I want better English," is difficult to follow. A clear goal creates direction. Decide exactly what you want to improve this week. Perhaps you want to introduce yourself confidently. Perhaps you want to order food in English without hesitation. Perhaps you want to describe your daily routine naturally. Small goals give your practice a purpose and make success easier to measure. Many learners underestimate the value of reviewing. They constantly move toward new lessons while forgetting what they studied last week. Memory grows stronger through repetition. Spend time reviewing familiar words and expressions. Use them in new sentences. Speak them aloud. Write them in short paragraphs. Each review strengthens the connection inside your mind. Patience is another habit that deserves attention. Modern life encourages quick results. People expect major improvement after only a few weeks. Language learning does not work that way. Fluency develops through hundreds of small improvements. Some days your progress will be easy to notice. Other days it will feel invisible. Continue anyway. Results often appear after long periods of steady effort. Discipline becomes easier when you remove unnecessary obstacles. Prepare your learning materials before you need them. Keep a notebook nearby. Save useful audio lessons where you can easily find them. Decide what time you will practice each day. Good habits become stronger when they require less effort to begin. Do not compare your progress with someone else's journey. Every learner starts from a different place. Some have more free time. Some have better opportunities to practice. Some learn faster in one area and slower in another. The only comparison that truly matters is between who you were yesterday and who you are today. If today's effort is stronger than yesterday's, you are moving in the right direction. Confidence also grows through preparation. Before speaking with someone, spend a few minutes thinking about possible questions and answers. Practice introducing yourself. Practice explaining your job, your hobbies, your family, or your goals. Familiar topics reduce stress because your mind already knows what it wants to say. Another powerful habit is listening carefully before responding. Many learners become so focused on creating the perfect sentence that they stop listening. Good communication begins with understanding. Pay attention to the speaker's words, tone, and purpose. A calm listener usually becomes a better speaker because clear understanding leads to better responses. Celebrate small victories without becoming satisfied too early. Notice when you remember a new word naturally. Notice when you understand part of a conversation without translating. Notice when speaking feels slightly easier than before. These moments remind you that your effort is producing results. They build motivation for the next day. It is also important to protect your focus. Modern technology offers endless distractions. A quick look at social media can easily become an hour of lost time. Create short periods where your attention belongs only to English. Even 20 focused minutes can produce better results than 2 distracted hours. Keep a simple record of your progress. Write down what you practiced each day. Record new words you actually used. Note situations where speaking felt easier than before. Looking back after several weeks will remind you how much you have improved, even when daily changes seem small. Treat every conversation as practice instead of performance. You are not trying to prove your intelligence. You are developing a skill. Athletes improve through repeated practice. Musicians improve through repeated practice. Language learners improve the same way. Every conversation strengthens your ability if you approach it with patience and determination. Remember that strong habits are built through repetition, not emotion. Some days you will feel excited to study, other days you will not. Your feelings will change, but your commitment should remain steady. Practice because it is part of the person you are becoming, not because you always feel motivated. The greatest transformation begins with ordinary actions repeated faithfully over time. Speak a little every day. Listen carefully every day. Review what you learn every day. Replace unhelpful habits with useful ones, one step at a time. Progress does not require perfection. It requires persistence. As these better habits become part of your daily life, your English will become clearer, your confidence will become stronger, and the goal that once seemed distant will gradually become your everyday reality. Chapter 3. Practice clear pronunciation until every sentence sounds natural. Clear pronunciation is one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself and to the people who listen to you. When your words are easy to understand, conversations become smoother, your confidence becomes stronger, and communication becomes more enjoyable. Many learners believe they need a perfect accent before they can speak well. That belief creates unnecessary pressure. The real goal is not to sound exactly like someone from another country. The real goal is to speak clearly enough that people understand you without effort. Think about every conversation you have in your own language. You do not carefully analyze every word before you speak. Your speech flows because your mouth has repeated those sounds thousands of times. English works the same way. Clear pronunciation comes from steady practice, patient correction, and careful listening. It is a skill that improves through action, not through wishing. Many learners avoid speaking because they feel embarrassed by the way they sound. They compare themselves to native speakers who have spent their entire lives using English. That comparison is unfair. Your journey is different. Your responsibility is not to sound perfect today. Your responsibility is to sound a little clearer than yesterday. Small improvements made consistently become remarkable progress over time. One of the best ways to improve pronunciation is to slow down. Many learners try to speak quickly because they think fast speech sounds fluent. In reality, rushing often causes words to become unclear. Slow speech allows your tongue, lips, and jaw to work together more accurately. It also gives your brain enough time to choose the right sounds. Speaking clearly is always more valuable than speaking quickly. Pay close attention to how each word is formed. Every sound has a purpose. Some sounds require your lips to close, others require your tongue to touch the roof of your mouth. Some sounds come from gentle airflow, while others require stronger breath. Becoming aware of these movements helps you produce words more accurately. Pronunciation is not only something you hear, it is also something you physically create. Spend time watching experienced English speakers while they talk. Observe how their mouths move when they pronounce different words. Notice how they open their mouths for certain vowel sounds and how they position their tongues for difficult consonants. This simple observation teaches your eyes as well as your ears. Your brain begins connecting the movement with the sound. Practice individual sounds before trying long sentences. If one particular sound feels difficult, isolate it and repeat it several times. Focus on making that single sound comfortably before placing it inside words. Then use those words in short sentences. Gradually increase the length of your speech. This step-by-step approach builds accuracy without creating frustration. Reading aloud is another powerful habit. Choose simple material that matches your current level. Read slowly enough that every word receives proper attention. Your goal is not to finish quickly. Your goal is to pronounce each sentence as clearly as possible. Over time, your mouth becomes more familiar with common word patterns, and speaking begins to require less effort. Recording your own voice can feel uncomfortable at first, but it is one of the most effective learning tools available. Record yourself reading a short paragraph. Listen carefully without judging yourself. Notice which words sound clear and which words need improvement. Compare your recording with a reliable English speaker reading the same passage. This comparison reveals details that often go unnoticed while you are speaking. Do not become discouraged when you hear differences. Every learner notices gaps between their current ability and their desired level. Those gaps are not signs of failure. They simply show where your attention should go next. Improvement begins with honest observation, followed by steady practice. Listening carefully is just as important as speaking. Your ears train your mouth. The more accurately you hear English sounds, the easier it becomes to reproduce them. Listen to short conversations spoken at a comfortable speed. Focus on individual words before trying to understand every detail of the conversation. Notice how words begin and end. Notice how some sounds become softer while others become stronger. Shadowing is another excellent exercise. Listen to one short sentence spoken by a clear speaker. Pause the recording immediately and repeat the sentence aloud while copying the speaker's pronunciation, rhythm, and pace. Continue one sentence at a time until the entire passage feels natural. This exercise strengthens the connection between listening and speaking. Do not choose difficult material too early. If the recording is too fast or the vocabulary is unfamiliar, your attention becomes divided between understanding and pronunciation. Simpler material allows you to concentrate fully on producing accurate sounds. Strong foundations always produce stronger, long-term results. Many English learners ignore the importance of stress within words. English words often contain one syllable that receives more emphasis than the others. Learning where that natural emphasis belongs makes your speech easier to understand. Instead of memorizing complicated rules, pay attention while listening. Over time, your ear will naturally recognize common patterns. Sentence rhythm also deserves attention. English is not spoken as one continuous stream where every word receives equal importance. Certain words carry the main meaning while others are spoken more lightly. Listening carefully helps you recognize this natural flow. As your rhythm improves, your speech begins to sound smoother without becoming artificial. Breathing plays a surprisingly important role in pronunciation. Many learners hold unnecessary tension while speaking. Tight muscles reduce clarity and make the voice sound strained. Before speaking, take a calm breath and relax your shoulders. Allow your voice to flow naturally instead of forcing each word. Relaxation often produces clearer speech than extra effort. Build your pronunciation practice around useful vocabulary instead of random word lists. Practice words you expect to use in daily conversations. Learn to pronounce greetings, common questions, everyday activities, emotions, numbers, dates, directions, and expressions you regularly need. Useful words become familiar through repeated use, making practice meaningful rather than mechanical. When you encounter a difficult word, avoid skipping it. Break it into smaller parts. Pronounce each part separately before joining them together. Repeat the complete word several times until it feels comfortable. Then place it inside different sentences. This gradual approach makes challenging vocabulary much easier to master. Consistency matters far more than long study sessions. 15 focused minutes every day usually produce better results than several hours once a week. Daily repetition strengthens muscle memory. Your mouth gradually learns where to move without conscious effort. Just as handwriting becomes smoother through repeated writing, pronunciation becomes clearer through repeated speaking. Accept that improvement sometimes feels slow. Certain sounds may require weeks of practice before they become comfortable. This is completely normal. Every language uses different sound patterns. Your mouth is learning movements it has rarely used before. Patience allows those new movements to become natural. Stay curious whenever someone corrects your pronunciation. Correction is valuable information, not personal criticism. A teacher, friend, or language partner who points out a mistake is helping you become easier to understand. Receive feedback with gratitude. Then practice the corrected version until it replaces the old habit. Create opportunities to use English with different voices. Listen to men and women. Listen to younger speakers and older speakers. Listen to people from different English-speaking regions. This variety trains your ears to understand natural differences while strengthening your own pronunciation. Practice speaking with emotion instead of repeating words like a machine. Read stories, conversations, or personal experiences with genuine feeling. Express happiness, disappointment, excitement, curiosity, or gratitude through your voice. Emotional speech helps your pronunciation sound more natural because real conversations are filled with feeling, not flat repetition. Avoid becoming obsessed with eliminating every trace of your native accent. Millions of people around the world communicate successfully in English while keeping parts of their original accent. Clear communication matters much more than complete imitation. Your identity does not disappear because you learn another language. Your goal is clarity, confidence, and connection. Notice how your confidence grows each time someone understands you without asking you to repeat yourself. Those moments may seem ordinary, but they represent meaningful progress. Every successful conversation proves that your effort is producing real results. Allow these experiences to encourage you rather than becoming impatient for perfection. Create a personal pronunciation notebook. Write down words that feel challenging. Return to them regularly. Practice them in different situations. Add short example sentences. Review the notebook every few days instead of waiting until you forget the words completely. Regular review keeps improvements fresh in your memory. Another valuable habit is speaking in front of a mirror. Watch the movement of your lips and mouth while practicing difficult sounds. This visual feedback helps you notice habits that might otherwise remain hidden. Small adjustments often create significant improvements in clarity. Do not underestimate the value of confidence during pronunciation. Fear causes hesitation. Hesitation interrupts natural speech. Trust yourself enough to finish each sentence calmly. Even if one word is imperfect, continue speaking with confidence. Most conversations succeed because people communicate ideas clearly, not because every sound is flawless. Respect the learning process. Every skilled English speaker once struggled with unfamiliar words. Every confident communicator spent time practicing sounds that now seem effortless. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is rarely talent. The difference is persistence. One person continues practicing while another gives up too early. Each day offers another opportunity to strengthen your pronunciation. One carefully spoken paragraph today becomes greater confidence tomorrow. One corrected mistake today prevents hundreds of future mistakes. One extra practice session today builds habits that continue serving you for years. Clear pronunciation is not built through shortcuts. It grows through careful listening, thoughtful speaking, regular correction, and patient repetition. Continue refining one sound, one word, and one sentence at a time. As your pronunciation becomes clearer, your conversations become smoother. As your conversations become smoother, your confidence becomes stronger. Eventually, speaking English no longer feels like performing a difficult task. It becomes a natural way of sharing your thoughts, expressing your ideas, building meaningful relationships, and opening doors to opportunities that once seemed beyond your reach. Every clear sentence you speak is another step toward lasting fluency, and every step forward proves that steady effort always creates meaningful change. Chapter 4. Speak confidently without fearing mistakes or outside judgment. Confidence is not something that suddenly appears after you become fluent in English. It grows while you are still learning. Many people believe confidence comes first and speaking comes later. The truth is the opposite. Every conversation you complete, every question you answer, and every idea you express adds another small piece to your confidence. You build it through action, not through waiting. One of the biggest obstacles to learning English is not grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. It is the fear of making mistakes in front of other people. This fear quietly controls many learners. It convinces them to stay silent, even when they know the answer. It tells them to avoid conversations because someone might laugh or point out an error. It creates hesitation where there should be progress. If you allow this fear to control your choices, your English will remain trapped inside your mind instead of becoming part of your everyday life. Take a moment to think about how children learn their first language. They make countless mistakes. They pronounce words incorrectly. They use the wrong grammar. They confuse meanings. Yet they continue speaking every day. Nobody expects perfection from them because everyone understands that mistakes are a natural part of learning. As adults, many people lose this healthy attitude. They expect themselves to perform perfectly from the beginning. This unrealistic expectation creates unnecessary pressure and slows their growth. Learning English requires courage, not perfection. Courage means speaking even when you feel uncertain. It means asking questions when you do not understand. It means trying again after an awkward conversation instead of deciding that you are not capable. Every act of courage strengthens your ability to communicate. Many learners imagine that everyone around them is carefully watching every mistake they make. In reality, most people are focused on themselves. They are thinking about their own responsibilities, their own conversations, and their own concerns. Even when someone notices an error, they usually forget about it within minutes. The fear inside your mind is often much larger than the situation itself. Change the way you think about mistakes. Instead of treating them as evidence of failure, treat them as valuable information. Every incorrect sentence teaches you something specific. Perhaps you used the wrong verb tense. Perhaps you chose the wrong preposition. Perhaps your pronunciation made one word difficult to understand. Each mistake points directly toward the next improvement you need to make. This makes mistakes useful rather than harmful. A person who never makes mistakes is usually avoiding challenges. Growth happens when you attempt something slightly beyond your current ability. If every conversation feels completely comfortable, you may not be stretching yourself enough. Choose situations that require a little more effort. Speak with new people. Discuss unfamiliar topics. Try expressing more detailed opinions. These experiences expand your abilities little by little. Your inner voice has tremendous influence over your confidence. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself after a conversation. If you immediately criticize every small error, your motivation will slowly disappear. Replace harsh judgment with honest encouragement. Recognize what went well before focusing on what needs improvement. Perhaps you spoke longer than before. Perhaps you understood more than expected. Perhaps you stayed calm during a difficult moment. These successes deserve your attention. Confidence also grows when you prepare well. Before entering a conversation, think about the topic you are likely to discuss. Review useful vocabulary. Practice answering common questions. Imagine yourself speaking calmly and clearly. Preparation reduces uncertainty because your mind already has a direction. Although you cannot predict every conversation, you can prepare for many common situations. Do not confuse confidence with speaking loudly or dominating conversations. True confidence is quiet. It allows you to speak honestly without feeling the need to impress others. It allows you to admit when you do not know a word. It allows you to ask someone to repeat a sentence if necessary. These actions demonstrate maturity, not weakness. One helpful habit is finishing your thoughts instead of stopping the moment you notice an error. Many learners interrupt themselves repeatedly because they are searching for perfect grammar. As a result, their conversations become difficult to follow. Continue expressing your idea as clearly as possible. If you notice an important mistake afterward, correct it naturally and move forward. Communication is more important than flawless performance. Remember that the purpose of language is connection. English exists so people can share ideas, solve problems, build friendships, learn new information, and create opportunities together. If your listener understands your message, your conversation has already achieved its main purpose. Small imperfections rarely prevent meaningful communication. Surround yourself with people who encourage learning rather than criticizing every mistake. A supportive environment creates freedom to experiment with new vocabulary and sentence patterns. Positive language partners understand that progress requires patience. They correct mistakes respectfully and celebrate improvement instead of expecting perfection. There will be moments when someone misunderstands you. This happens even between native speakers. Do not immediately assume your English is poor. Calmly explain your idea in another way. Use simpler words if necessary. Give an example. Point to an object. Communication offers many paths. Flexibility is often more valuable than complicated vocabulary. Confidence develops through repeated experience. Your first conversation may feel uncomfortable. Your fifth conversation will likely feel easier. Your 20th conversation may surprise you with how natural it feels. Every interaction teaches lessons that cannot be learned from books alone. Experience gradually replaces fear with familiarity. Avoid comparing your Chapter 1 with someone else's Chapter 10. Every fluent speaker has invested countless hours in listening, speaking, reading, and correcting mistakes. You rarely see the years of effort behind their current ability. Focus your attention on your own progress instead of measuring yourself against others. Many successful English speakers still make occasional mistakes. Fluency does not mean speaking without error. It means communicating effectively despite occasional imperfections. This understanding removes unnecessary pressure. Your goal is continuous improvement, not impossible perfection. Another valuable practice is becoming comfortable with short moments of silence. Sometimes you need a few seconds to organize your thoughts. There is nothing wrong with that. Speaking slowly and thoughtfully often creates a stronger impression than rushing through unclear sentences. Give yourself permission to think before responding. When you learn a new expression, use it in conversation as soon as possible. Waiting too long increases the chance that you will forget it. New knowledge becomes stronger through immediate use. Even if you use the expression imperfectly at first, each attempt increases your familiarity with it. Body language also influences confidence. Stand comfortably. Maintain natural eye contact. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Speak with a steady voice. These simple physical habits affect not only how others see you, but also how you feel about yourself. Your posture sends messages to your own mind as well as to your listeners. Celebrate progress that cannot be measured by test scores alone. Notice when conversations become less stressful. Notice when you understand jokes, instructions, or stories more easily. Notice when you begin thinking about ideas instead of worrying about every individual word. These quiet improvements show that your communication skills are becoming more natural. Accept that some conversations will go better than others. A difficult discussion does not erase weeks of progress. Perhaps you were tired, perhaps the topic was unfamiliar, perhaps the other speaker talked unusually fast. Learn what you can from the experience and continue practicing. One challenging moment does not define your ability. Develop the habit of asking questions. Questions keep conversations moving even when your vocabulary feels limited. People generally enjoy talking about their experiences, opinions, and interests. By asking thoughtful questions, you reduce pressure on yourself while creating meaningful interaction. At the same time, you gain valuable listening practice. Another important lesson is learning to tolerate temporary discomfort. Growth rarely feels completely comfortable. You may feel nervous before joining an English conversation. Your heart may beat faster. Your voice may shake slightly. These reactions are normal. Do not interpret them as signs that you should stop. They simply show that you are challenging yourself in a healthy way. Confidence becomes stronger when you keep promises to yourself. If you decide to practice speaking every day, honor that commitment. If you plan to join an online conversation group, attend consistently. Every promise you keep strengthens trust in your own discipline. That trust becomes the foundation of lasting confidence. Treat every conversation as another opportunity to learn, rather than a final examination. There is no finish line where learning suddenly ends. Even highly educated speakers continue expanding their vocabulary and improving their communication throughout life. This understanding removes unnecessary pressure and allows you to enjoy the learning process. Gratitude can also improve your confidence. Appreciate every chance to practice English. Appreciate the people who patiently communicate with you. Appreciate the resources that allow you to study. Gratitude shifts your attention away from fear and toward opportunity. A grateful learner approaches challenges with greater resilience. Do not allow one negative experience to shape your entire future. Perhaps someone once laughed at your pronunciation. Perhaps you forgot an important word during an interview. Perhaps you became embarrassed in a public conversation. Those moments belong to the past. They do not determine what you are capable of achieving tomorrow. Every new conversation gives you another chance to succeed. The strongest confidence is built quietly through daily effort. It grows each time you choose progress over comfort. It grows when you speak, despite uncertainty. It grows when you recover from mistakes without losing hope. It grows when you continue practicing, even after difficult days. Your voice deserves to be heard. Your ideas matter regardless of your current English level. Every sentence you speak brings you closer to the communicator you want to become. Continue moving forward with patience, honesty, and determination. Do not wait for fear to disappear before you begin speaking. Speak while fear is still present, and with every conversation you complete, fear loses a little more of its power. One day you will look back and realize that the confidence you were searching for was quietly built through every small act of courage you chose along the way. Chapter 5. Think directly in English during everyday daily activities. One of the biggest changes in your English journey happens quietly. It is not when you memorize hundreds of new words. It is not when you finish another grammar lesson. It happens when your mind begins to create ideas in English before your native language appears. That moment may seem small, but it changes the way you communicate. Instead of translating every thought, you begin responding more naturally. Conversations become smoother because your attention stays on the message instead of constantly changing languages inside your mind. Many learners believe that thinking in English is only possible after reaching an advanced level. The truth is much more encouraging. This habit can begin on your very first day. You do not need thousands of words to think in English. You only need the words you already know. Your thoughts will be simple at first, and that is exactly how they should begin. A strong foundation is built from simple ideas that become stronger through daily use. Imagine waking up in the morning. Before looking at your phone or beginning your daily routine, pause for a moment. Notice your surroundings. Look at the light coming through the window. Feel the temperature in the room. Think about the day ahead, using short English sentences. Tell yourself what you plan to do. Describe how you feel. Decide what your first task will be. These quiet moments teach your mind that English is not only for study time, it becomes part of ordinary life. Your daily activities offer countless opportunities to practice this skill. While brushing your teeth, describe each action in your mind. While preparing breakfast, think about the ingredients you are using and the steps you are following. When choosing clothes, describe their colors, sizes, or styles. Every ordinary activity becomes a natural language lesson because it connects English with real experiences instead of isolated exercises. Thinking directly in English removes an unnecessary step from communication. Translation often slows you down because your brain must first create an idea in one language and then search for an equivalent expression in another. This process consumes time and mental energy. When you gradually replace translation with direct thinking, your responses become faster and more natural. You spend less effort searching for perfect equivalents and more attention expressing your real thoughts. Do not worry if your thoughts seem very simple in the beginning. Simplicity is a strength, not a weakness. A short and clear idea is far more useful than a complicated sentence that creates confusion. As your vocabulary grows, your thoughts will naturally become more detailed. Growth happens one layer at a time. There is no need to rush this process. Train yourself to notice objects around you throughout the day. Look at a table and immediately think of its English name. Notice the sky, trees, buildings, vehicles, people, and everyday tools. Instead of silently identifying them in your native language, make English your first choice. These repeated moments strengthen the connection between the object and the English word without relying on translation. Your emotions also provide valuable practice. When you feel happy, tired, excited, worried, grateful, or calm, describe those feelings in English. Learn to recognize your emotional state using simple expressions. This creates a deeper relationship with the language because you are no longer memorizing words from a list. You are using them to understand your own experiences. Questions are another excellent way to develop this habit. Throughout the day, ask yourself simple questions in English. What am I doing right now? What should I finish next? What do I need to buy today? What made me smile this morning? How can I improve today? Answer each question naturally using the vocabulary you already possess. This creates an ongoing conversation inside your own mind that strengthens your ability to think without translating. Accept that your thoughts will sometimes stop because you do not know a particular word. This is completely normal. Instead of returning immediately to your native language, try explaining the idea using different English words. If you cannot remember the exact name of an object, describe its purpose or appearance. This flexibility strengthens communication skills and teaches your brain to solve language problems creatively. Develop the habit of planning your day in English. Before starting work or school, think about your schedule. Organize your tasks mentally. Decide which responsibilities deserve your attention first. When you finish one activity, think about what comes next. These practical thoughts occur naturally every day, making them perfect opportunities for language practice. Another effective exercise is mentally describing places you visit. As you enter a supermarket, observe what you see. Notice the shelves, products, customers, and workers. Describe the environment quietly in your mind. If you visit a park, pay attention to the weather, the sounds, the people walking nearby, and the appearance of the trees. Every location becomes a source of fresh vocabulary connected to real experiences. When traveling from one place to another, avoid allowing your mind to remain inactive. Whether you are walking, riding a bus, or sitting in a train, observe your surroundings through English. Describe buildings, traffic, signs, or conversations you notice. These moments accumulate into valuable practice without requiring additional study time. Reading signs, menus, product labels, and advertisements in English also strengthens direct thinking. Instead of translating every word, focus on understanding the complete message. Your brain gradually learns to process information more naturally. Over time, this skill transfers into conversations, where faster understanding becomes increasingly important. Avoid placing unnecessary pressure on yourself to create long internal speeches. Brief observations are enough. The goal is frequency, not length. Many small moments of English thinking throughout the day are more effective than forcing yourself into one exhausting practice session. Whenever you learn new vocabulary, connect it immediately to your own life. Do not simply memorize the definition. Think about when you would actually use that word. Imagine realistic situations where it becomes useful. Personal connections make vocabulary easier to remember because your brain stores it alongside meaningful experiences. Technology can support this habit when used wisely. Change the language settings on devices you use every day if you already understand basic English. Read familiar menus, notifications, and common instructions in English. Since you already know how these applications function, your mind naturally connects meaning without depending heavily on translation. Listening to English during routine activities also encourages direct thinking. While cooking, exercising, or organizing your home, listen to clear conversations or simple audio content. Do not worry about understanding every word. Focus on following the general meaning. Gradually, your brain becomes more comfortable processing English as a living language instead of an academic subject. One important lesson is accepting moments of uncertainty without frustration. Sometimes your thoughts will pause because you cannot express exactly what you want. Rather than becoming discouraged, remain patient. Use simpler words and continue thinking. Every successful attempt strengthens the habit. Every temporary difficulty teaches your brain how to adapt. Pay attention to patterns rather than isolated words. English speakers often combine words in predictable ways. As you repeatedly encounter these natural combinations, your thoughts become smoother because your mind begins storing complete expressions instead of individual vocabulary items. This reduces hesitation and makes communication feel more comfortable. Another valuable exercise involves reflecting on your day before going to sleep. Think about what happened from morning until evening. Describe your experiences in English using clear, simple language. Consider what you accomplished, what challenged you, and what you hope to improve tomorrow. This daily reflection strengthens memory while giving meaningful purpose to your language practice. Avoid criticizing yourself whenever your mind accidentally returns to your native language. Habits developed over many years do not disappear overnight. Gently redirect your attention back to English without becoming impatient. Consistent correction is far more effective than harsh self-judgment. Notice how your confidence gradually changes as this habit becomes stronger. You begin recognizing English words more quickly. Forming sentences requires less conscious effort. Conversations become less stressful because your brain spends less energy translating and more energy communicating. These improvements may seem gradual, but together they create significant transformation. Your environment offers endless opportunities for learning if you remain attentive. Every object you touch, every person you meet, every place you visit, and every task you complete can strengthen your ability to think directly in English. The language becomes woven into your daily experiences instead of remaining limited to textbooks and classrooms. This approach also makes learning more enjoyable because it removes the feeling that studying only happens during formal lessons. Every ordinary moment becomes valuable. Washing dishes, organizing your desk, preparing a meal, watering plants, shopping for groceries, or waiting for an appointment all become opportunities to strengthen your English naturally. Remember that fluency begins inside the mind before it appears in conversation. The thoughts you practice privately shape the words you eventually speak publicly. A calm and disciplined learner builds these inner habits patiently, knowing that invisible progress eventually produces visible results. Every day presents hundreds of opportunities to think differently. Choose English whenever possible. Keep your thoughts simple, honest, and connected to real life. Allow your vocabulary to grow naturally through repeated use. Trust that your mind is becoming stronger each time you practice. Little by little, thinking in English will stop feeling like an exercise and begin feeling like a normal part of your daily routine. When that happens, speaking also becomes easier because your ideas are already waiting in the language you wish to use. This quiet transformation creates lasting confidence, deeper understanding, and a level of fluency that grows steadily through ordinary moments lived with extraordinary consistency. Chapter 6. Improve listening skills by following easy English audio daily. Listening is the doorway through which every language enters your mind. Before you can speak naturally, respond confidently, or understand conversations without effort, your ears must first become familiar with the sounds, rhythm, and patterns of English. Many learners spend most of their time reading grammar books or memorizing vocabulary while giving very little attention to listening. This creates an imbalance. They may recognize many words on paper, yet they struggle to understand even a simple conversation. The solution is not to study harder. The solution is to train your ears every single day. Think about how every child learns a language. Long before speaking full sentences, children spend months listening. They hear words repeated in different situations. They notice the way people ask questions, give instructions, express emotions, and tell stories. Without realizing it, their brains begin recognizing patterns. Little by little, those patterns become familiar. Eventually, speaking feels natural because listening prepared the way. Your journey follows the same principle. Every minute you spend listening carefully strengthens the foundation for future conversations. Do not begin with difficult material simply because it sounds impressive. Many learners choose advanced videos or fast conversations that leave them confused after only a few minutes. They finish the lesson feeling discouraged because they understood almost nothing. This approach weakens motivation. Instead, choose audio that matches your current ability. When you understand most of what you hear, your confidence grows, your vocabulary becomes stronger, and your brain begins noticing new details naturally. Easy English does not mean childish English. It means language that allows you to follow the main message without feeling overwhelmed. As your understanding improves, you can gradually increase the level of difficulty. Progress should challenge you enough to keep learning without creating unnecessary frustration. Consistency matters far more than long listening sessions. 15 or 20 minutes every day creates stronger results than several hours once each week. Daily exposure keeps English active inside your mind. Your ears become accustomed to the sounds because they hear them regularly. Just as exercise strengthens the body through repeated effort, listening strengthens comprehension through steady practice. Choose a specific time each day for listening. Perhaps you enjoy quiet mornings before beginning work. Perhaps evenings offer fewer distractions. Maybe your daily walk provides the perfect opportunity. The exact time matters less than building a reliable routine. When listening becomes part of your daily schedule, you no longer depend on motivation alone. Habit carries you forward, even on days when enthusiasm feels low. Your first goal should never be understanding every single word. Real conversations move too quickly for that expectation. Instead, train yourself to understand the main idea. Ask simple questions while listening. What is this person talking about? What happened first? What happened next? How does the speaker feel? These questions teach your brain to focus on meaning instead of becoming trapped by individual words. It is perfectly normal to miss some vocabulary during every listening exercise. Even advanced learners occasionally hear unfamiliar expressions. Do not stop the recording every few seconds. Continue listening and allow the remaining words to provide context. Very often, the meaning becomes clear by the end of the conversation. This habit develops patience and teaches you to stay engaged instead of giving up when something feels unfamiliar. When you find an audio recording that is clear and useful, listen to it more than once. The first time, simply follow the general message. During the second listening, notice important words and expressions. During the third listening, pay attention to sentence structure, pronunciation, and natural speaking patterns. Each repetition reveals something you missed before. Familiar material becomes richer every time you revisit it. Listening should become an active experience rather than background noise. If English is playing while your attention is completely focused somewhere else, improvement becomes much slower. Give your full attention during practice. Sit comfortably, remove distractions, and concentrate on understanding the speaker. Even a short period of focused listening creates stronger results than hours of passive exposure. After listening to a short passage, pause and think about what you understood. Try explaining the main idea in your own simple English. This exercise connects listening with speaking while strengthening memory. It also reveals whether you truly understood the message or only recognized individual words. Another effective strategy is predicting what the speaker might say next. As conversations develop, your brain naturally begins expecting certain ideas or responses. This prediction strengthens your understanding because it encourages active participation instead of passive observation. Even when your prediction is incorrect, your attention remains fully engaged. Pay attention to everyday expressions rather than unusual vocabulary. Native speakers often use simple language during ordinary conversations. Greetings, requests, opinions, invitations, directions, and daily activities appear repeatedly. Learning these common patterns provides far greater practical value than memorizing rare words you may never use. Notice how different speakers express emotions through their voices. Happiness, disappointment, excitement, concern, gratitude, and curiosity all influence tone. Listening carefully teaches you that communication depends on much more than vocabulary alone. Understanding emotional expression makes conversations feel richer and more natural. Allow yourself to become familiar with natural speaking speed gradually. At first, slower recordings provide valuable support. As your confidence grows, begin listening to speakers who talk at an ordinary pace. Your ears adapt over time. What once seemed impossibly fast gradually becomes comfortable because repeated exposure changes your perception. Do not depend entirely on subtitles. They can be useful when checking difficult sections, but reading every word prevents your ears from doing their own work. Try listening without subtitles first. Afterward, review the written text if necessary. Finally, listen once more while focusing only on the audio. This balanced approach strengthens both listening ability and reading comprehension. Create a collection of audio that genuinely interests you. If you enjoy travel, listen to travel conversations. If you enjoy cooking, choose cooking discussions. If you enjoy personal growth, select motivational talks designed for learners. Interest increases attention, and attention strengthens learning. Enjoyable material is easier to revisit because curiosity replaces obligation. Protect yourself from the temptation to jump constantly between different learning resources. One carefully chosen audio series completed from beginning to end often produces better results than starting dozens of unrelated lessons without finishing any of them. Depth creates stronger understanding than endless variety. Listening also trains your memory. Each time you hear familiar vocabulary used naturally, the connection becomes stronger. Eventually, those words appear more quickly when you need them during conversation. This process happens quietly, without forcing yourself to memorize long lists. Frequent exposure gradually transforms passive knowledge into active language. Challenge yourself occasionally by listening in different environments. Practice at home where conditions are quiet. Later, try listening while riding public transportation or sitting in a park. Real life rarely offers perfect silence. Learning to concentrate despite moderate background noise prepares you for authentic conversations. Another valuable habit is noticing linking between words. English speakers often connect words smoothly instead of pronouncing each one separately. At first, these connected sounds may seem confusing. With regular listening, your ears gradually recognize these natural patterns. Conversations become easier to understand because your brain expects the sounds to flow together. Remain patient with yourself during difficult listening sessions. Some recordings will feel easier than others. Certain speakers have clearer voices or more familiar accents. Temporary difficulty does not mean your ability has stopped improving. Every challenging lesson strengthens your listening skills, even when progress feels invisible. Use listening to build curiosity rather than anxiety. Instead of worrying about everything you missed, celebrate everything you understood. Perhaps you recognized several new expressions. Perhaps you followed an entire story without translation. Perhaps you understood a joke for the first time. These moments deserve your attention because they reflect genuine growth. Develop the habit of reviewing useful phrases immediately after listening. Repeat them aloud. Imagine situations where you could use them naturally. Place them inside your own sentences. This simple practice strengthens the connection between listening, memory, and speaking. Remember that listening is not a race. There is no reward for finishing lessons quickly. Quality always matters more than speed. One carefully understood conversation provides greater value than several hours of confused listening. Slow progress built on clear understanding creates lasting fluency. As your listening improves, another remarkable change begins to appear. You spend less time translating and more time understanding directly. Familiar expressions become automatic. Questions make sense immediately. Responses form more naturally. This transformation happens because your brain has received countless examples of real English through patient listening. Strong listeners also become stronger speakers because they absorb natural sentence patterns without consciously memorizing grammar rules. They hear how questions are formed, how opinions are expressed, and how ideas flow from one sentence to another. These patterns quietly become part of their own communication. Treat every listening session as another conversation with the language. Listen with curiosity, attention, and patience. Allow your ears to become comfortable with every new sound. Trust the process even when improvement feels slow. Every day of consistent listening sharpens your understanding a little more. Months from now, you may suddenly realize that conversations once considered impossible now feel understandable. Movies become easier to follow, instructions sound clearer, interviews no longer seem overwhelming. These changes do not happen because of one extraordinary lesson. They happen because you chose to show up every day, allowing steady practice to reshape your listening ability. Your ears are learning even when progress feels invisible. Continue giving them clear, simple, and meaningful English every day. Stay disciplined with your routine. Protect your attention. Choose material that encourages rather than discourages you. Over time, your listening will become one of your greatest strengths, opening the door to more confident speaking, deeper understanding, richer conversations, and a level of fluency built on steady effort instead of shortcuts. Chapter 7. Expand vocabulary using practical words you will actually use. Words are the tools you use to express your thoughts, share your experiences, ask for help, solve problems, and build meaningful relationships. The more useful words you know, the easier it becomes to communicate with confidence. Yet many English learners spend years collecting vocabulary they rarely use. They memorize long lists filled with uncommon expressions, difficult adjectives, and technical terms, only to discover that they cannot comfortably talk about their own daily lives. Real progress begins when you focus on learning words that naturally belong in your everyday conversations. Think about the conversations you have most often. You talk about your family, your work, your studies, your health, your hobbies, your plans, your meals, your schedule, your feelings, and the people around you. These topics appear repeatedly throughout life. If you build a strong vocabulary around them, you will notice immediate improvement in your ability to communicate. Your goal is not to impress people with complicated language. Your goal is to make your ideas clear and natural. Start by observing your own routine. From the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep, every activity contains useful vocabulary. Consider your morning routine. Think about getting out of bed, washing your face, making breakfast, preparing for work or school, checking your calendar, or leaving the house. Every action has words connected to it. These words deserve your attention because they describe experiences you live every day. Learning vocabulary becomes much easier when each new word has a personal connection. Instead of memorizing random lists, ask yourself where you would actually use the word. Imagine a real conversation. Picture yourself speaking with a friend, a coworker, a customer, or a teacher. If you can easily imagine using the word, it becomes more valuable. Your memory strengthens because the word now belongs to your life instead of existing only inside a notebook. Avoid measuring your progress by the number of words you memorize. A learner who knows 500 useful words and can use them confidently often communicates better than someone who has memorized 5,000 words without practicing them. Quality matters far more than quantity. A smaller vocabulary used naturally creates stronger communication than a larger vocabulary that remains trapped inside your memory. Whenever you discover a new word, avoid learning it by itself. Learn it together with a complete sentence. A sentence teaches you how the word behaves, where it belongs, and how people naturally use it. Your brain remembers language more effectively when it sees words connected to meaningful situations rather than isolated definitions. Pay attention to words that appear repeatedly during your listening and reading practice. If you notice the same word several times within a few days, it is probably important. Common words deserve repeated attention because they appear frequently in real conversations. Instead of chasing unusual vocabulary, master the language that people actually use every day. Another valuable habit is organizing vocabulary into meaningful groups. Instead of studying unrelated words, connect them through familiar situations. Learn the language of shopping together. Learn the language of transportation together. Learn the language of health together. Learn the language of work together. Grouping vocabulary creates stronger mental connections, making recall easier during conversations. Your environment provides an endless source of practical vocabulary. Walk through your home and identify the objects around you. Learn the names of furniture, kitchen tools, clothing, electronic devices, cleaning supplies, and personal belongings. Since you see these items regularly, repeated exposure naturally strengthens your memory. Every room becomes a classroom filled with useful language. Do not ignore verbs. Many learners become fascinated by nouns and adjectives, while forgetting that verbs give life to every sentence. Everyday communication depends heavily on action words. Focus on verbs that describe ordinary activities, such as cooking, cleaning, driving, reading, writing, studying, buying, selling, carrying, opening, closing, helping, waiting, choosing, and explaining. These words appear constantly in daily life. Adjectives also become more useful when connected to real experiences. Learn words that describe people you know, places you visit, weather you experience, food you eat, and emotions you feel. Practical descriptions allow your conversations to become richer without becoming unnecessarily complicated. Avoid the habit of translating every new word into your native language before learning it. Instead, connect the word directly with an image, an action, or a personal memory whenever possible. This approach strengthens direct understanding and gradually reduces dependence on translation. Your mind begins recognizing English as its own system rather than constantly comparing it with another language. Review deserves just as much attention as learning new vocabulary. Many learners eagerly collect fresh words while quickly forgetting yesterday's lesson. Lasting memory grows through repeated contact. Return to familiar vocabulary regularly. Use old words in new situations. Create fresh sentences. Speak them aloud during daily activities. Every review strengthens the connection until the word becomes part of your active vocabulary. Writing also plays an important role in vocabulary development. At the end of each day, write a few sentences describing your experiences using recently learned words. Do not worry about creating perfect paragraphs. Focus on using vocabulary naturally. Writing forces your brain to retrieve words actively instead of simply recognizing them during reading. Conversations offer another powerful opportunity to strengthen vocabulary. Whenever you learn a useful word, challenge yourself to include it in your next discussion. Real communication transforms passive knowledge into active ability. The first few attempts may feel awkward, but each successful use makes the word easier to remember. Become curious about synonyms, but avoid learning too many at once. Master one common word before adding several alternatives. Once you comfortably use a familiar expression, gradually expand your choices. This balanced approach prevents confusion while steadily increasing your ability to express ideas with greater precision. Your hobbies provide another excellent source of meaningful vocabulary. If you enjoy sports, learn the language connected to your favorite activities. If you enjoy photography, cooking, music, gardening, technology, travel, or fitness, build vocabulary around those interests. Personal interest increases motivation, and motivated learning produces stronger memory. Notice the language used during ordinary conversations around you. Observe how people ask questions, make suggestions, express opinions, give compliments, solve disagreements, or explain problems. Everyday communication relies heavily on practical expressions rather than complicated words. Learning these natural patterns prepares you for real situations far better than memorizing uncommon vocabulary. Avoid becoming discouraged when you forget a word. Forgetting is a normal part of learning. The important question is not whether you forget, but whether you return to the word afterward. Every review rebuilds the memory more strongly than before. Patience transforms temporary forgetting into permanent learning. Develop the habit of replacing vague words with more specific ones. Instead of always saying something is good, Gradually learn words that describe different qualities. Instead of repeatedly saying nice, bad, big, or small, expand your ability to describe experiences more accurately. These gradual improvements make your communication clearer while remaining natural. Context is one of your greatest teachers. A word often changes meaning depending on the sentence in which it appears. Pay attention to how experienced speakers use vocabulary naturally. Notice which words commonly appear together. These combinations become easier to remember because they reflect authentic communication rather than isolated memorization. Keep a vocabulary notebook that reflects your own life instead of copying long dictionary entries. Write useful words together with simple example sentences connected to your experiences. Add short notes about when you might use each expression. Review these pages regularly until the vocabulary becomes familiar. Technology can also support vocabulary growth when used with discipline. Read simple news articles, follow educational content, or listen to conversations that match your level. Whenever you discover a useful word, focus on understanding how it functions inside the complete sentence, rather than immediately moving to the next unfamiliar expression. Challenge yourself to describe familiar situations using different vocabulary. Explain your job in several ways. Describe your hometown from different perspectives. Talk about your goals using new expressions. This flexibility strengthens your ability to communicate naturally instead of depending on memorized sentences. Another valuable exercise involves explaining unfamiliar words without using your native language. If you cannot remember one specific term, describe its appearance, purpose, or function using other English words. This develops creativity and prepares you for real conversations where perfect vocabulary may not always come immediately. Do not allow yourself to become overwhelmed by the enormous size of the English language. You do not need every word in the dictionary to communicate effectively. Native speakers themselves use only a portion of the language in their daily lives. Focus your energy on the vocabulary that serves your own goals and responsibilities. Celebrate moments when a new word appears naturally during conversation without conscious effort. These moments show that the vocabulary has become part of your active knowledge. Such progress may seem small, but it represents an important step toward genuine fluency. Remain disciplined with your learning routine, even when progress feels gradual. Vocabulary grows steadily through repeated exposure, thoughtful review, practical use, and patient effort. Every useful word you truly understand becomes another building block supporting your confidence and communication. As your collection of practical vocabulary expands, something remarkable begins to happen. Conversations require less mental effort. You spend less time searching for simple words. Expressing ideas becomes smoother because familiar vocabulary is ready when you need it. Daily situations that once felt challenging become comfortable because your language now matches your life. Never forget that language exists to connect people. The most valuable words are not necessarily the most impressive ones. They are the words that help you express gratitude, ask thoughtful questions, share honest experiences, solve everyday problems, encourage others, and build meaningful relationships. Continue choosing useful vocabulary over complicated vocabulary. Continue learning words that reflect the life you actually live. With steady practice, those practical words will become trusted tools that support every conversation, strengthen every opportunity, and bring you steadily closer to speaking English with confidence, clarity, and lasting fluency. Chapter 8. Strengthen grammar through simple speaking exercises every single day. Many English learners spend years studying grammar without feeling comfortable during real conversations. They complete exercises, memorize rules, and recognize correct answers in books, yet they hesitate when it is time to speak. The reason is simple. Grammar is not meant to remain inside notebooks. It is meant to become a natural part of your speech. The bridge between knowing grammar and using grammar is daily practice. Every sentence you speak gives your mind another opportunity to transform knowledge into a habit. Think of grammar as the structure that holds your ideas together. Vocabulary gives you the words, but grammar helps those words work as a team. Without structure, your message may become confusing, even when you know many useful expressions. Fortunately, strong grammar does not require complicated study sessions. It grows steadily through simple speaking exercises, repeated every day. Many learners believe they must master every grammar rule before opening their mouths. This belief creates unnecessary delay. Real improvement begins when you start using the grammar you already understand. Even basic sentence patterns become powerful when you use them consistently. Instead of chasing advanced rules, focus on making simple sentences accurate and clear. Begin with statements about your daily life. Describe what you are doing, what you did yesterday, and what you plan to do tomorrow. These 3 time periods introduce you to the most common verb forms in practical situations. Because these topics come directly from your own experiences, they feel meaningful instead of artificial. Every day provides fresh opportunities to practice without needing special materials. When you wake up in the morning, describe your plans aloud. During the afternoon, explain what you are currently doing. In the evening, talk about what happened throughout your day. This simple habit strengthens your understanding of different verb forms because you connect grammar to real experiences instead of isolated examples. Do not memorize rules without applying them immediately. If you study a new sentence pattern, create several examples connected to your own life. Personal examples stay in your memory much longer because they reflect your experiences. A grammar lesson becomes more valuable when it helps you express something meaningful. Ask yourself questions throughout the day and answer them in complete sentences. Where are you going? Why are you studying English? What did you learn today? What do you enjoy doing after work? How will you spend tomorrow? This exercise naturally strengthens question forms while encouraging complete responses instead of one-word answers. Another useful habit is describing pictures. Look at a photograph, a magazine page, or even the view outside your window. Explain what you see using clear and simple sentences. Describe people, actions, objects, and locations. Then imagine what happened before the picture was taken and what might happen afterward. This single activity allows you to practice several grammar structures naturally. Grammar becomes easier when your attention stays on communication instead of perfection. Many learners stop speaking every few seconds because they worry about choosing the correct verb ending or word order. This constant interruption prevents natural development. Express your complete idea first. After finishing, think about possible improvements. Gradual correction produces stronger long-term results than constant self-interruption. Notice how experienced English speakers build sentences. Pay attention to common patterns rather than unusual exceptions. Everyday conversations rely heavily on familiar structures repeated in different situations. By listening carefully, you begin recognizing these patterns naturally. Over time, your own speech reflects what you hear regularly. Reading aloud also strengthens grammar because your eyes repeatedly encounter correct sentence structures. As you read, notice how ideas connect from one sentence to another. Observe how questions differ from statements. Pay attention to how time expressions influence verb choices. This repeated exposure quietly strengthens your understanding without requiring endless memorization. Do not become discouraged by grammar mistakes. Every learner experiences them. Even fluent speakers occasionally correct themselves during conversation. The important difference is that successful learners continue communicating while gradually improving their accuracy. Mistakes provide direction. They show which areas deserve more practice. Develop the habit of expanding simple sentences. Start with a short statement and slowly add more information. A basic idea becomes richer as you include details about time, place, reason, or description. This exercise teaches your mind to build longer sentences while maintaining clear grammar. Gradual expansion also increases speaking confidence because each addition feels manageable. Another valuable practice involves changing one sentence into different forms. Turn a statement into a question. Change present tense into past tense. Express the same idea in the future. Replace one subject with another. These small adjustments strengthen flexibility because your brain learns to manipulate familiar structures instead of memorizing isolated examples. Conversations with yourself provide excellent grammar practice. Describe your thoughts while completing ordinary activities. Explain what you are cooking, organizing, reading, or planning. Since no one else is listening, you can experiment freely without fear of judgment. Private practice builds confidence for future conversations with other people. Avoid trying to learn several grammar topics at the same time. Too much information often creates confusion. Focus on one area until it feels comfortable. Use it repeatedly in speaking before introducing another concept. Strong understanding grows layer by layer, allowing each skill to support the next. Review deserves as much attention as learning something new. Grammar patterns become stronger through repetition. Return to familiar sentence structures regularly. Use them in different situations. Create fresh examples connected to new experiences. Every review deepens your understanding and reduces hesitation during conversation. Keep your explanations simple whenever possible. Many learners believe advanced grammar automatically creates better communication. In reality, clear and accurate sentences usually leave a stronger impression than complicated ones filled with mistakes. Simplicity gives you control. Control creates confidence. Pay attention to small words that connect ideas smoothly, words expressing time, place, sequence, reason, and contrast help conversations flow naturally. Practice including these connecting words in your daily speaking. They make your communication more organized while strengthening your grammar naturally. One helpful exercise is retelling short stories. Read a simple paragraph or listen to a brief conversation, then explain the main events using your own words. This activity encourages flexible sentence building because you cannot depend on memorized wording. Instead, your mind actively creates new sentences while following familiar grammar patterns. Another effective habit is keeping a spoken diary. At the end of each day, spend several minutes talking about your experiences. Describe what went well, what challenged you, and what you hope to accomplish tomorrow. This daily reflection naturally includes different verb forms while helping grammar become part of ordinary communication. Do not fear repetition when practicing grammar. Repeating useful sentence structures strengthens automatic recall. Athletes repeat movements until they become natural. Musicians repeat passages until they become smooth. Language learners develop grammar the same way. Familiar patterns gradually require less conscious effort. Listening carefully also supports grammar development. Notice how speakers organize their ideas. Observe where they place verbs, adjectives, and time expressions. Listen to common question forms. Your brain quietly absorbs these patterns through repeated exposure. Eventually, they begin appearing naturally in your own speech. Stay curious whenever someone corrects your grammar. View corrections as valuable guidance rather than criticism. A corrected sentence teaches far more than one left unchanged. Accept feedback calmly, practice the improved version, and continue speaking with confidence. Do not measure your progress only by test results. Notice practical improvements in everyday communication. Perhaps your sentences feel smoother. Perhaps you hesitate less before answering questions. Perhaps explaining your opinions requires less effort than before. These changes demonstrate that grammar is becoming part of your active language. Develop patience with the learning process. Some grammar patterns become comfortable quickly, while others require more time. Every learner progresses at a different pace. Comparing yourself with others often creates unnecessary frustration. Compare today's ability with last month's ability instead. Small improvements become meaningful when viewed over longer periods. Avoid depending completely on memorized phrases. Memorized expressions can be helpful, but real communication requires flexibility. Practice creating original sentences using familiar grammar. This strengthens your ability to respond naturally during unexpected conversations. Read simple English regularly. Well-written material provides countless examples of correct grammar in meaningful contexts. Instead of studying isolated rules, you see grammar performing its real purpose, helping people communicate ideas clearly. Reading also introduces new sentence patterns that gradually become part of your own speaking. Celebrate accuracy without becoming afraid of experimentation. Safe practice builds confidence, but occasional challenges create growth. Try expressing more detailed thoughts. Explain your opinions. Tell stories about your experiences. Every new situation teaches your grammar to become more flexible and dependable. Remember that fluency is built through countless ordinary moments rather than dramatic breakthroughs. Every correctly formed sentence strengthens your foundation. Every conversation teaches another lesson. Every day of consistent speaking moves grammar from conscious effort toward natural habit. Your goal is not to become someone who can explain every grammar rule perfectly. Your goal is to become someone who can communicate clearly, confidently, and naturally in real situations. Practical grammar serves communication. It allows your ideas to reach other people without confusion. Continue speaking every day, even when your sentences are not perfect. Continue practicing familiar patterns until they feel effortless. Continue building one skill upon another with patience and discipline. Over time, grammar will stop feeling like a collection of rules and begin feeling like a trusted guide that quietly supports every conversation. Your words will flow more smoothly, your confidence will continue growing, and expressing your thoughts in English will become a natural part of your daily life. That transformation begins not with complicated lessons, but with simple speaking exercises repeated faithfully day after day. Chapter 9. Create powerful English habits that guarantee steady, lifelong progress. The greatest difference between people who become fluent in English and those who stop improving is rarely intelligence, talent, or natural ability. The difference is found in their daily habits. One person depends on temporary motivation, while another builds a routine that continues even when motivation disappears. Excitement may help you begin, but habits help you continue. When your actions become automatic, progress no longer depends on how you feel each day. It becomes part of the way you live. Many learners believe they need long hours of study to achieve fluency. This idea often creates unnecessary pressure. Busy schedules make long study sessions difficult to maintain, and missing a few days can quickly lead to discouragement. A better approach is to build small habits that easily fit into your daily life. Small actions performed consistently create remarkable results because they continue month after month and year after year. The first habit to develop is showing up every day. Your practice does not always need to be long, but it should be regular. Some days you may have an hour to study. Other days you may only have 15 minutes. Both days matter because consistency keeps your connection with the language alive. Even short sessions remind your brain that English remains an important part of your life. Create a fixed time for practice whenever possible. Your mind adapts more easily when learning follows a predictable routine. Perhaps you enjoy studying before breakfast. Maybe your lunch break offers a quiet opportunity. Perhaps evenings are the most peaceful part of your day. Choose a time that matches your lifestyle and protect it with discipline. Regular timing reduces the need to make decisions because practice becomes an expected part of your schedule. Another powerful habit is preparing before you begin. Keep your notebook, learning materials, headphones, and other resources organized and easy to reach. Removing small obstacles makes it easier to start. Every unnecessary delay creates another opportunity for distraction. A prepared environment encourages immediate action. Focus on completing today's practice instead of worrying about distant goals. Thinking about becoming fluent can sometimes feel overwhelming because the destination appears far away. Instead, direct your attention toward today's responsibilities. Finish today's lesson. Practice today's conversation. Review today's vocabulary. When you consistently complete small daily tasks, larger goals gradually become reality. Protect your learning time from unnecessary interruptions. Modern life offers endless opportunities to lose focus. Messages, notifications, and social media compete constantly for your attention. During your English practice, Choose to give your full concentration to one task. Focused learning produces stronger results because your brain processes information more deeply. Develop the habit of finishing what you begin. Many learners enthusiastically start new books, applications, courses, and videos without completing them. They collect resources instead of building skills. Choose one useful learning path and follow it patiently. Completion creates confidence because you experience steady progress instead of constant restarting. Keep your goals realistic. Unrealistic expectations often lead to disappointment. Instead of promising yourself several hours of daily study that quickly becomes impossible, choose an amount you can maintain comfortably over many months. Sustainable habits always outperform extreme effort that lasts only a short time. Reflection strengthens every learning habit. At the end of each week, spend a few minutes reviewing your progress. Consider what worked well and what could improve. Notice which activities helped you remember new information most effectively. Honest reflection allows your routine to become stronger with time because you continually adjust based on real experience. Celebrate consistency more than perfection. Missing one difficult word or making one grammar mistake should never erase your satisfaction with maintaining your practice routine. Long-term improvement comes from repeated effort, not flawless performance. Every day you keep your commitment is another victory worth recognizing. Build habits around your existing routine instead of creating completely separate study periods whenever possible. If you drink tea every morning, review English while enjoying your drink. If you travel to work by bus or train, use part of that journey for listening practice. If you enjoy walking in the evening, think about your day in English during the walk. Connecting new habits to familiar routines makes them easier to maintain. Stay curious throughout your learning journey. Curiosity transforms ordinary experiences into valuable lessons. Notice unfamiliar words on signs, product labels, menus, or advertisements. Listen carefully when English appears in everyday situations. Ask yourself how you would express your own ideas more clearly. A curious mind continues learning long after formal study ends. Keep your reasons for learning English clear. Perhaps you want better career opportunities. Perhaps you hope to travel confidently. Perhaps you wish to communicate with people from different countries. Perhaps you want access to books, courses, or information unavailable in your native language. Your personal reasons provide strength during difficult periods when progress feels slow. Another important habit is accepting gradual improvement. Many meaningful changes happen quietly. One day you suddenly realize that reading feels easier. A conversation becomes less stressful than before. You understand part of a movie without subtitles. These moments often arrive without dramatic announcement because steady habits produce steady growth. Remain flexible when life becomes busy. Unexpected responsibilities, travel, illness, or family commitments sometimes interrupt your routine. Instead of abandoning your practice completely, adjust it temporarily. A shorter session keeps your habit alive until normal circumstances return. Flexibility protects consistency during challenging periods. Create an environment that encourages English naturally. Surround yourself with books appropriate for your level, useful notes, meaningful phrases, or audio resources you genuinely enjoy. Your surroundings quietly influence your behavior. A supportive environment makes good habits easier to maintain without constant effort. Develop patience with yourself. Every learner experiences days when concentration feels weak or progress seems invisible. These moments do not erase previous improvement. Continue your routine calmly without demanding immediate results. Trust that every session contributes to your long-term development, even when changes cannot yet be measured. Learn to enjoy repetition instead of avoiding it. Returning to familiar material often feels less exciting than discovering something new, yet review strengthens memory far more effectively than constant novelty. Each review deepens understanding, increases confidence, and prepares vocabulary and grammar for real conversations. Choose quality over speed. There is no prize for completing lessons quickly while forgetting everything afterward. Give yourself permission to move carefully. Understand each concept before adding another. Strong habits produce deep learning because they value lasting understanding over temporary achievement. Pay attention to your energy as well as your schedule. Notice when your mind feels most alert. Use that period for activities requiring greater concentration. Simpler review can be saved for moments when your energy is lower. Working with your natural rhythm makes learning more enjoyable and productive. Keep a simple record of your daily effort. You do not need detailed reports. A small note showing what you practiced each day provides valuable encouragement. Looking back after several months reminds you how much work you have completed and how far you have progressed. Surround yourself with positive influences whenever possible. Spend time with people who encourage learning, celebrate improvement, and understand the value of patience. Positive environments strengthen discipline because they remind you that growth is possible through steady effort. Accept responsibility for your progress. Teachers, books, applications, and courses provide guidance, but your daily actions determine the final result. Taking ownership gives you freedom because your improvement no longer depends entirely on external circumstances. Every day offers another opportunity to strengthen your habits through your own choices. Treat challenges as opportunities to strengthen discipline. Difficult lessons, unfamiliar vocabulary, and confusing conversations are not signs that you should stop. They are invitations to grow. Every challenge successfully faced increases your confidence because it proves your ability to continue despite temporary discomfort. Balance learning with enjoyment. Read stories that interest you. Listen to conversations about topics you genuinely enjoy. Watch educational content connected to your hobbies or career. Interest keeps your mind engaged, making it easier to maintain lifelong habits without feeling forced. Do not allow temporary success to weaken your discipline. After noticeable improvement, some learners reduce their practice because communication has become easier. Gradually, their progress slows. Continue nurturing your habits even after reaching important milestones. Lifelong learning keeps your skills sharp and allows continued growth. Remember that language is not a destination where learning suddenly ends. Every conversation teaches something new. Every book introduces fresh expressions. Every experience expands your understanding. This perspective removes pressure because you no longer chase perfection. Instead, you embrace continuous improvement as part of your life. One of the strongest habits you can build is returning after interruption. Everyone experiences setbacks. The important question is not whether you will miss a day. The important question is how quickly you begin again. Strong learners do not waste time feeling guilty. They simply return to their routine with renewed commitment. Protect your confidence by focusing on effort rather than comparison. Someone else may learn faster in one area while you progress more steadily in another. Your journey belongs to you alone. Measuring yourself against others often distracts from the consistent work that creates lasting improvement. As these habits become part of your everyday routine, something remarkable happens. Studying English no longer feels like a task that demands constant discipline. It becomes a natural part of your identity. You begin reaching for English without thinking. You seek opportunities to learn because curiosity has replaced obligation. Progress continues almost effortlessly because your habits carry you forward. The person you become through these habits is just as valuable as the language skills you develop. You become more disciplined, more patient, more focused, and more resilient. Those qualities strengthen every area of your life, not only your English. Continue choosing small, meaningful actions each day. Continue protecting the habits that support your growth. Over time, those ordinary daily decisions will create extraordinary results, allowing you to enjoy steady progress, not for a few months, but for the rest of your life. Chapter 10. Master fluent communication by speaking English every single day. Fluent communication is not created in a single day. It is the result of hundreds of ordinary days when you choose to speak instead of remaining silent. Every conversation adds experience. Every sentence teaches a lesson. Every question you ask builds confidence. Over time, these small moments come together and transform the way you communicate. What once felt difficult gradually becomes natural because your mind, your ears, and your voice have learned to work together. Many learners believe fluency is a destination where mistakes completely disappear. This belief creates unnecessary pressure and often leads to disappointment. Real fluency is the ability to communicate your thoughts clearly, understand other people with confidence, and continue expressing yourself even when you occasionally forget a word or make a small mistake. Communication is about connection, not perfection. Speaking every single day gives your knowledge a purpose. Vocabulary becomes useful because you actively choose words to express real ideas. Grammar becomes practical because it helps organize your thoughts. Pronunciation improves because your mouth gains experience producing English sounds naturally. Listening becomes stronger because conversations require your full attention. Every skill grows together through regular communication. Treat speaking as an essential part of your daily life instead of a special activity that only happens during lessons. You do not need to wait for the perfect opportunity. Every ordinary moment offers something worth discussing. You can describe your plans while preparing breakfast. You can explain your opinions after reading an article. You can summarize a video you watched. You can talk about your goals, your challenges, your memories, or your hopes for the future. Daily life provides an endless supply of meaningful topics. One of the most effective ways to improve is speaking about experiences that genuinely matter to you. Share your thoughts about your work, your family, your hobbies, your dreams, and the lessons you learn each day. Personal topics encourage natural communication because you already know what you want to express. Your attention shifts away from inventing ideas and toward expressing them clearly. Do not wait until every sentence feels perfect before you begin speaking. Growth happens while you are communicating, not before it. Every conversation teaches something valuable. You may discover a missing word, notice a grammar pattern that needs attention, or learn a better way to explain an idea. These discoveries become possible only because you chose to speak. Practice expressing the same idea in different ways. If one sentence feels difficult, simplify it. If one word does not come to mind, explain the meaning using words you already know. Flexible communication is one of the strongest signs of real fluency. People who communicate well do not stop when they encounter difficulty. They adapt, continue, and find another path to express their thoughts. Build the habit of speaking in complete ideas rather than isolated words. Instead of giving short answers whenever possible, explain your reasoning, add examples, describe your experiences, share your opinions politely and honestly. Longer responses strengthen fluency because they encourage your mind to organize connected thoughts naturally. Conversations become richer when you develop genuine curiosity about other people. Ask thoughtful questions, listen carefully to the answers, respond to what you hear instead of thinking only about what you want to say next. Good communication depends on understanding as much as speaking. A careful listener usually becomes a stronger speaker because meaningful conversations require both skills. Another important habit is learning to stay calm during unexpected situations. Sometimes you may hear unfamiliar vocabulary or face questions you did not prepare for. Rather than becoming anxious, pause briefly, organize your thoughts, and respond as clearly as possible. Remaining calm allows your existing knowledge to work more effectively. Do not fear moments when you need additional time to think. A thoughtful pause often creates better communication than rushing into unclear speech. Give yourself permission to organize your ideas. Clear communication is built on understanding, not speed. Develop confidence in explaining everyday situations. Imagine introducing yourself to someone new. Describe your hometown. Explain your daily routine. Talk about your favorite book, your career goals, or a memorable experience. These familiar topics appear frequently in real conversations. Practicing them regularly prepares you for countless opportunities. Keep challenging yourself with slightly more detailed discussions as your confidence grows. Share your opinions about education, health, technology, travel, personal growth, or current events appropriate to your interests. Each new topic expands your ability to communicate in different situations while strengthening your vocabulary naturally. Speaking every day also trains your memory. Words you repeatedly use become easier to remember because your brain recognizes their importance. Expressions that once required conscious effort gradually appear without hesitation. This automatic recall develops through repeated use rather than memorization alone. Create opportunities to communicate with different people whenever possible. Every conversation introduces new speaking styles, personalities, and perspectives. These experiences improve your flexibility because each person communicates differently. Learning to adapt your language to different situations strengthens real-world fluency. Accept that some conversations will be easier than others. Certain topics match your existing vocabulary, while others introduce unfamiliar ideas. Some speakers communicate slowly and clearly, while others speak more quickly. Every experience contributes something valuable. Easy conversations build confidence, and challenging conversations build resilience. Develop the habit of reflecting after each meaningful conversation. Consider what you expressed well. Notice where you hesitated. Think about useful words or expressions you would like to remember. Reflection transforms ordinary conversations into valuable learning experiences without requiring complicated analysis. Keep your focus on communication instead of performance. You are not trying to impress every listener with advanced vocabulary or perfect grammar. Your purpose is to exchange ideas honestly and effectively. When communication becomes your priority, unnecessary anxiety begins to fade. Remember that your personality should remain present while speaking English. Language is simply another way of expressing who you already are. Continue showing kindness, curiosity, respect, humor, patience, and sincerity. Fluency becomes more meaningful when your true character is visible through your words. Allow your mistakes to become teachers instead of obstacles. Every correction gives you valuable information. Every misunderstanding encourages clearer communication next time. Every difficult conversation prepares you for future success. Progress belongs to those who remain willing to learn from every experience. Another valuable habit is sharing stories from your own life. Describe meaningful events, personal achievements, important lessons, or memorable challenges. Storytelling strengthens communication because it naturally combines vocabulary, grammar, sequence, emotion, and description. It also makes conversations more engaging for both you and your listener. Continue strengthening your speaking through regular reading and listening. These activities provide fresh vocabulary, natural sentence patterns, and new ideas to discuss. The stronger your input becomes, the richer your spoken communication will be. Every skill supports the others, creating balanced language development. Be patient during periods when improvement seems slower. Language growth often happens quietly beneath the surface. You may not notice daily changes, yet your brain continues building stronger connections through every conversation. Weeks later, you suddenly realize that speaking feels easier than before. This quiet progress is the reward of consistent practice. Respect the value of discipline. There will be days when you feel energetic and eager to speak. There will also be days when you feel tired or distracted. Continue practicing anyway. Daily communication keeps your skills active and prevents hesitation from returning. Discipline protects your progress when motivation becomes uncertain. Do not stop challenging yourself after reaching comfortable conversations. Continue expanding your ability. Learn to explain more complex ideas. Participate in longer discussions. Express disagreement respectfully. Offer encouragement to others. Ask thoughtful questions that deepen conversations. Growth continues whenever you remain willing to learn. Celebrate the practical victories that show real improvement. Notice when you complete an entire conversation without translating. Notice when you understand someone immediately. Notice when expressing your opinion feels natural. These achievements reflect genuine fluency because they improve your ability to connect with people. Never forget why you began this journey. English is more than a subject to study. It is a bridge connecting you with opportunities, knowledge, friendships, careers, travel, education, and cultures from around the world. Every conversation expands your world a little further. Every new relationship reminds you that language has the power to bring people together despite different backgrounds. The confidence you have built did not appear by chance. It grew through every practice session, every difficult moment, every correction accepted with humility, and every decision to continue learning when giving up would have been easier. Your progress reflects your discipline, your patience, and your determination. As you continue speaking every day, English gradually becomes less like a foreign language and more like a familiar companion. You stop thinking about individual words and begin focusing on ideas. Conversations become opportunities instead of challenges. Your attention moves from worrying about mistakes to enjoying meaningful communication. Keep your curiosity alive. Continue asking questions. Continue exploring new ideas. Continue reading, listening, and speaking with an open mind. Learning does not end with fluency. Every conversation teaches something new about language, about people, and about yourself. Trust the process that has brought you this far. Simple actions repeated faithfully have created lasting change. Continue using English in your daily life with confidence and purpose. Speak when you have something to share. Listen with genuine interest. Learn from every experience. Encourage others who are beginning the same journey. One day, someone will ask how you became fluent in English. The answer will not be one secret method or one perfect course. It will be much simpler than that. You became fluent because you refused to stop. You chose steady progress over quick results. You practiced when it was easy and when it was difficult. You accepted mistakes without losing confidence. You trusted consistent effort more than temporary motivation. Most importantly, you gave yourself permission to keep speaking every single day. Those daily conversations shaped your ability, strengthened your character, and opened doors that once seemed far beyond your reach. Your voice grew stronger because you continued using it, and through that steady commitment, fluent communication became not only a skill you developed, but a natural part of the person you have become.